took a little pause there to press the record button. Welcome everyone to the First Friday call. We have been talking before you arrived about the confusion of so many links, and I've sent out some reminders this morning and you got more than one, and I'm just grateful that you didn't get all the reminders that I'd sent because I think I pressed the button 10 times. So my apologies, I'm really sorry. But it is, thank you for joining us. And without further ado, I'll just tell you that you may have heard me say this before, but Victor Wang, who was the former vice president for entrepreneurship at the Kauffman Foundation, defined entrepreneurial ecosystems in this way. Humans are biological animals, so our society is a biological system. Biological systems, like natural rainforests, thrive because of the unplanned, uncontrolled results of countless interactions among flora and fauna. As a result, they adapt, they evolve. It's similar for human beings. Our society, our networks are a type of ecosystem too. They are rainforests, but made of people. Our world depends on the interactions of people who possess talent, capital, and ideas. This means everyone. And today we're going to hear from two different programs addressing two different aspects of our ecosystems, one for adult and one for youth. So without further ado, I will introduce Karl Klein and Laurie Pieper from the Washburn University Small Business Center. Karl, take it away.
Hey, thank you, Nancy. We appreciate you having on the program this morning. I see a lot of friends of the SBDC out there and the attendees, and welcome everybody. I want to just provide a short introduction, if Laurie wants to go ahead and bring that PowerPoint up, of what we'll be talking about here this morning. And that is the launch of the Washburn University BRITE Center. This is a specialty center from Washburn University to assist our region in capacity that we may not already provide. So Laurie is the assistant director with the Washburn SBDC, and she's going to get into the heart of the program. She'll go to the next slide. This was really brought about by our capabilities and our team and the experience that we have. And Laurie, with some previous experience as the tech director for Iowa, Tom Byler comes to us as a previous director for the Pittsburgh State University. SBDC has some great background in technology and polymers, and my experience through the years of helping coordinate some of the different endeavors that we've been involved with. So next slide. The background for this is really just an attempt to fill some of the gaps in our region as a conduit to the multitude of the different resources that we work with and that we provide for our small business owners, and fill in some of those gaps. So the next slide. And, you know, I think from a mission standpoint, I'm not going to sit here and read our mission statement to you, but the core of this is to provide our region and our clients so that we cultivate economic prosperity through the delivery of our services and the enhancement of the way that we work collaboratively. So that's really the essence of what this center is designed to do. We'll take some questions at the end, but Laurie has been instrumental in getting this launched and off the ground and coordinating this. So I'm going to let her go through our vision and some of the initial programming that we have to get started. And thank you again, everybody, for attending. Thanks, Laurie.
Thank you. I am mute, or can people hear me? Okay, great. Karl, thank you for the introduction and for talking about some of the background for what we're doing. We're incredibly excited about launching the BRITE Center. We've been working on this for a long time. We've had conversations with a lot of resource partners. We've been working with businesses. We've looked at what's done in other areas. And we really think that there's opportunity for us to work with other resources in the state, other resources in our region, and businesses in our area to deliver higher value services to high potential clients so that we can generate economic prosperity for our region through helping innovation and tech companies launch and grow, through connecting with businesses that have the potential to export, and helping them get started. And this is important because the world needs innovations. For example, look at our food systems, look at protecting our soil, our water, our air, look at protecting our climate, look at feeding the world's growing population in the coming decades. And as a region, it's really important for us to be involved in moving innovations forward so that we can keep up with the world, but also grow economically in our area. And so tech and innovation are important, but also export's important because 95% of the world's population lives outside of the US. So this is just a list of some of the areas in which innovations are needed and in which there's a lot of attention being paid to innovation. Being located in Kansas and being a part of the animal health corridor, we're very interested in working with ag innovators, also people in animal health, but really any area of innovation or technology client that has the potential to grow, create jobs, and generate wealth for the area. So just to give you a little bit of additional perspective, only about 1% of the small businesses in Kansas are exporters. And if you think about all of the things that could be exported, we certainly have potential to increase the number of exporters, small business exporters that we have in Kansas. And this is something that's important because exporters tend to pay higher wages and be more resilient. So what we're doing with the BRITE Center, we're working internally and also with other partners to do team advising, track client needs and progress, and develop long-term relationships. We've got a calendar of events planned for the year, webinars, programs, classes. We're hoping to have something exciting for the end of the year, but we're looking at programs in cybersecurity, how to help people get started in exporting, and things they need to know well ahead of time, pre-launch for innovation and tech, access to capital, management growth, access to markets. And we're working with other resources to develop new programs and to have more active partner engagements. So this is important because we do have a lot of resources in the state of Kansas and in the region that we work in, but people don't always know how to navigate them. And they sometimes move from one resource to another and get lost in the system or get dropped. And we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. And so we want to be known as a centralized resource that people can work with to help them navigate all of this. And we're going to be doing rural outreach, university engagement, and really work to collaborate on program development. So the first two that we have coming up this year are a cybersecurity webinar, Cybersecurity Essentials for Small Businesses, that's being presented by Michael Almack from the US Small Business Administration. And then in February, we're going to be doing a registration by invitation only event for resources and economic development partners, chambers of commerce, to talk about how we can engage with businesses that have the potential to export so that we can work together to help develop them. And then, as I said, we have a full calendar of events that we've got for the year. And if you'd like to be on our mailing list for events, please let us know and we'll send that to you. So we do have some asks today. We would like you to let people know what we're doing with the BRITE Center. Let us know if you want to be on our email list. Please attend our trainings, help us promote our events, but also let us know what you're seeing in terms of needs so that if there's something we can address, we can participate in that, and let us know how we can collaborate with you, because we believe that partnership is really essential to what we're doing with the BRITE Center. So here's our contact information, and I thank you for your attention today.
That's great. So we've got a couple of questions, and Karl, you answered one of them. Do you want to say anything more about the question about is this a new way of looking at these opportunities? I heard you say that you developed it based on the talent in your group.
Yeah, so I thought rather than try to answer those questions in the chat, I'd just let you read them. That way everybody can hear them.
Okay, good. Okay, let me just read it then. Yeah, okay. The question is, was there a program that did this before, or is there a new way of, or is this a new way of looking at these opportunities? What spurred the idea for this program?
So I think both Laurie and I can probably chime in here, but this is new within our region. We've never had a separate center like this that's addressed this type of advising, these levels of service. And what really spurred this on was just seeing the need for, I think we called it gap fill, in connecting some of the great resources that we have in our region and in the state to the entrepreneurs that exist, both urban and rural, that have great ideas that are potentially able to be commercialized, and really building the economic prosperity in Kansas through that route. I mean, that is what this center is designed to do, in addition to what we do on a daily basis. Helping entrepreneurs start and grow is probably the easiest way to describe that. So we're not changing what we do on a regular basis. We're trying to value add to that with these new services and the way we go about doing the application of those services and the advising that we do.
Fantastic. Okay, the next question: how can our local or regional entrepreneurship e-ship networks help the BRITE team?
Go ahead, Laurie.
So was this a question about the e-communities?
I think so.
Go
ahead,
Laurie,
Kirk.
Laurie, this is Kirk. Hi, good morning. Actually, it's a pretty standard question, whenever I'm at an event is, how can we help you? Our networks, the people that we interact with every day, what's the best ways to kind of spread the word or raise awareness or, bring you quote unquote clients or whatnot?
Yeah, so thank you, Kirk. Hopefully you can see this. I'm not sure whether you're just listening or whether you can also see, but really, if you can let people know that we have this new center, BRITE stands for Business Resources for Innovation, Technology, and Exporting. So we really want to have programs that are focused specifically on those types of businesses. And then we're going to have an email list to let people know about our programs and events. If you attend our trainings, let people know that they're valuable, let people know about them. And then also, again, as you see needs in the community or you hear people, talking about needs in the community relating to innovation and technology companies or export companies, we'd love to hear about them.
Thank you, Laurie.
Thank you.
Okay, and one more question, or a couple more actually. So go to your last slide. I think that's where let's see. So one question is, can you share the BRITE's website? Do you have a website?
So it's going to be active later this month. But there's our URL, WU for Washburn University, BRITE, like Business Resources for Innovation, Technology, and Exporting Center.com.
Very good. Okay. And now I see it.
So you just have to remember how BRITE is spelled.
Yes, that's right. That's right. It's an acronym. Okay. How can we get on the invitation for the February event?
Send us an email.
Okay. Is there a scale of business too big or too small that would not be a good fit for the BRITE Center?
We're set up to work with small businesses. By federal standards, what counts as a small business can actually be fairly large. So we're going to work with anybody from, somebody who has the talent and ability to start all the way through, just as long as by federal guidelines, they count as a small business.
And is that 500?
As a rule of thumb.
Okay.
Sometimes it's actually bigger than that.
Okay.
As a rule of thumb, we say 500.
Okay. Good questions. Excellent questions. Anyone else? That's really exciting. And I think, even just to be able to see faces on the screen and realize that you know each other, I think that's one of the values of this particular call. And the reason that it's growing is because people are more likely to reach out to people that they know. And so if we can get to know each other and understand, okay, I don't quite understand the BRITE Center, but I do trust that you'll tell me where I need to go because you're connected to others as well. That's what we're talking about, entrepreneurship ecosystem. So I value what you all bring to this. Okay, so I'm gonna, why don't you stop your share?
So I can't seem to do that.
Oh, you can't?
Or did I just do it?
No, you ended the slideshow.
The stop share button isn't showing up. Can you?
Okay, let's see. Stop participants sharing. I just did it. Okay.
Thank you.
Together we can get through this. And that's actually the theme for today. Together we will get better.
Thank you,
yes, thank you. Thank you both. And thank you. I'm really glad our attendance today shows us that people were willing and I appreciate your flexibility. These guys wanted to give the program and we were getting like 3 or 4 months out. And it's like, why be rigid? Let's go the second week, even though it made me a liar that said that we weren't going to meet this month. So Chad, I see you there. Welcome to the call. And I'm going to introduce Chad Jackson, the director of the Entrepreneurship Center at K-State.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for the time, Nancy, and appreciate the opportunity. My colleague, Arlena, was the one who wanted to come in and share a few things about the Kansas Entrepreneurship Challenge. She's unable to join us today, but I think I'm going to jump in and share a few things. And I also see that I have all of my good friends from Network Kansas, especially Amara 1 and Amara 2, who are going to chime in here as well. So I think, first of all, maybe a point of clarification that might help. So we're going to talk about 2 separate events that are closely coordinated and connected, though, today, which is the Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge and the Kansas Entrepreneurship Challenge. So these 2 events are, again, closely coordinated and we work together closely to make sure that they happen, but they are separate events. So first, I think let's start on the Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge side. And again, I'm looking at my Amaras to chime in here as we need. But those are a series of local events, primarily through e-communities, although there's opportunities elsewhere for others to join in and host a local competition for middle school or high school students in their communities. It's a fantastic way to get youth excited about entrepreneurship. I've attended several of these and locally as well as others, and I can just tell you that the excitement that comes when you see a 7th grader or sophomore in high school pitch their idea to a panel of judges. Not only is it intense, and you get to see, you know, the excitement on their face, but it really does spark an interest in entrepreneurship, which is, you know, one of the things that I've been saying for years, which is when you're a kindergartner or a first grader and people ask you what you want to be, you know, oftentimes you hear, I want to be a nurse or a teacher or a firefighter, and those are great. And we of course, we want those kinds of people in our communities, but we also want entrepreneurs. And this is inspiring that generation of entrepreneurs. And the Network Kansas team just does a fantastic job with that. The Kansas Entrepreneurship Challenge. So I'll talk about that, and then maybe we can come back to the other side and answer all their questions. The Kansas Entrepreneurship Challenge is a statewide effort where we have several different divisions. So we have a youth division where the winners of each of the YEC events, so the Youth Entrepreneurship Challenge events, the winners of each of those automatically qualifies for our statewide competition. So this year, Amara and her team have 45 local competitions. The winner of each of those local competitions will be able to come in and qualify for one of our statewide competition spots. But we also have 15 wildcard spots. So these are open to any middle school and high school student across the state of Kansas. So whether they competed in a YEC event or not, whether there's one available locally or not, up to 15 wildcard spots are available to any middle school and high school student across the state. All they have to do is put together a 3-page executive summary of their idea, submit a video pitch of them pitching their idea, and then we'll consider them for one of those 15 spots. So we have a youth division, but we also have a university division. So we have invited the 7 public Board of Regents 4-year institutions to each send teams, and we have a university division. So we have the top teams from every 4-year public institution coming in. They get to, again, pitch their ideas, compete for prize money, and a chance to be seen as one of the top, you know, up and coming ideas in the state of Kansas. And so it's a great opportunity for our university students as well to come in and network with judges, get practice pitching their ideas. And the other part of it is networking with fellow entrepreneurs. So this will be my last plug. So the other thing I love about this event, whether it's on the youth side or the university side, is these entrepreneurs from across the state get a chance to actually come together and see each other and meet one another and see that, oh, I'm not alone wanting to be an entrepreneur. You know, there's all these other people who want to be entrepreneurs as well. And there's all these judges who want to support us, and there's these institutions that want to support us. And so that's, again, one of the things I get really excited about this event. And so I guess my call today, or my ask, is certainly participate in YEC events. Put the call out in your communities if you haven't already. If you don't host one this year, host one next year. Reach out to Amara. I would love to see 105 of these across the state. Sorry, Amara. I'd love to see a ton of these across the state. But then also, if you don't have a local event this year, but you know of a middle school or high school student who's entrepreneurial or wants to explore that, then convince them to try for one of our wildcard spots, because those, again, are open to anybody across the state. So I'll turn it over. What did I miss, guys?
So Chad, you did a fantastic job. Thank you so much. I think you summarized what YEC is really well. I would want to say, for anybody that's curious, our sanction application deadlines, so when you apply to host a competition, usually takes place every year in November. So unfortunately, that deadline has passed for this season. So we can't accept any new competitions, but Chad had a great point. You know, you could send students through the wildcard round, or I would encourage you to attend a local event. If you're interested in hosting one in the future, you could find one in your area and go and visit. Many e-communities and even our non-e-communities that are participating are very welcome of visitors. A lot of events are virtual, so you might get to experience that. We have a platform called Venture Dash, which Network Kansas just launched in July. And so it's been really good for competitions. It's made the virtual aspect a lot easier. So that's something that you can check out as well. You can go to our website, networkkansas.com, if you're interested in learning more about YEC. Please feel free to reach out to me directly if you have other questions or want to get connected with visiting an event. My name is Amara Kniep, so my email is akniep, which is AKNIEP @networkkansas.com. So feel free to reach out to me anytime. If you are hosting a different sort of business competition, a Shark Tank or a pitch competition, that doesn't even have to do with YEC, you might want to check out Venture Dash. So you can go to goventuredash.com to check that out. And so if you have a student that's interested in competing, like Chad said, I would suggest sending them through that wildcard round if they're not able to join a local competition. And the last thing I just want to say is that, and I know I can speak on behalf of our whole team, we love the KEC. Chad and Arlena just do a fantastic job of coordinating that event. The energy of that day is just so incredible. It's so valuable for the students to come together and, like Chad said, network and see that all these other kids want to be entrepreneurs. Another thing that's really cool is the mock boardroom aspect of state, where the kids get to interact more with the judges. So they go in and they talk about their business with the judges. They answer questions, they get some back and forth. But it's not just answering questions. It's kind of like a mentorship thing that they get with the judges. So it's just so valuable, and we're just so passionate about it and really believe in it. So thanks, Chad, for everything that you presented. And if anybody has any questions for me or Chad, we'd be happy to answer those.
And I'll just add one more plug then, if I can, and that is Venture Dash is an amazing platform that Network Kansas has created. And we've converted all of our competitions to using this platform because we believe in it so much. It is such a valuable resource. It has saved us so much time. And so if you do host competitions or other types of events, I would strongly encourage you to look at hosting or using Venture Dash to host it.
Thanks, Chad.
Dang, that's inspiring. Thank you, guys. You know, I love those of us that have been around for a while know that at one time it was all about competing with each other. And the ways that we are growing, the ways that technology is advancing, it's all about working together. And you see that these folks are not competing, they are collaborating. As the proverb goes, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. But if you want to go far, go with others. And so it is just really inspiring to hear what you're doing. Let's see. I thought there was another question. Okay, goventure-.com is the website for that. Thank you, Shelley. And I don't see any questions. Did anybody see anything I missed? Okay, so who else has something that you want to share? This is the time for partner sharing. Who else has something that they want to share about what's going on in your world? Just unmute yourself and start your video. And Jack, we're going to talk about your next program in a little bit.
Okay.
Hey Nancy, I wanted to jump in and say give a quick plug on an upcoming webinar series that the Rural Grocery Initiative is hosting. Some of the folks on the call definitely already know about this because we've got several partners on the call that have helped develop it. But I'd like to just share that starting on Thursday, January 28th, we will have the first of an 8-part webinar series that we've called Keeping Groceries Alive. The focus is on rural grocery business transition. So a partner team has identified sort of 8 core topics that are important for grocers to consider in terms of developing a plan and finding a new owner or manager. And so we will go from sort of chronological order of what are those steps you need to take to successfully transition your business. This has been a topic that's gotten a lot of a lot of interest in Kansas and in states across the country. Often at the Rural Grocery Initiative, we hear that a store is about to close when it feels like it's too late. And so the idea for this workshop is to provide an opportunity for grocers to be thinking ahead and to start planning before it is too late. So I encourage you all to share this if you know of any grocers that are sort of in this position, maybe a couple years out from trying to retire. This is meant for them. And I will drop the link to our series in the chat so that you all can follow up after this. There's registration is open now, and the first webinar will be Thursday, January 28th, but there will be several. There are 8 total, so you can pick and choose what topic is relevant to you, and I encourage you all to join us.
Anybody have any questions? I will ask a question. Ryle, I was a year and a half ago, back when remember when we traveled? I was in a First Impressions community, and about the only thing that was going on was a really healthy grocery store there. And I talked to the owner, and he said, well, I said, what are you thinking about in terms of transitioning? He said, you know, I don't like to talk about it, but he said, my community can see how old I am. And I worry about the fact that, you know, baby boomers are the age that we are, and we can do whatever we want to. And when we're ready to quit, we just might quit. And that may not be what's of benefit to our community. So finally, to the question, is there also the opportunity for a business, for people in a community who are looking at their store owner? Maybe they don't want to own the store either, but will they learn something by coming to your event?
I would say yes. And in fact, based on our registration so far, we've gotten everyone from a grocery store owner to a community member that's sort of concerned about their grocery store. And so we've gotten this question, but I think that one area we really want to focus on in this webinar is how communities can be involved in the process, and how a transition that involves the community can be more successful. Another focus is on shared ownership models. And so, you know, there is information on business transition, sort of your standard business transition, and there is information on running a grocery store. The idea of this webinar series is to combine those two and bring up these alternative ways of owning and operating and transitioning grocery stores that include community and have buy-in from the community. So I would say that yes, that would be a good fit for this webinar, particularly that one of the webinar topics will be on sort of these shared ownership models that often incorporate community institutions or community members. This could be a cooperative or public-private partnership. So that sort of topic, I think, would be especially relevant.
And Steve Bradley says these webinars will be fantastic no matter what stage the grocery store is in. So good affirmation from a third-party source, relatively reliable source. Okay, so for those of you that know, we all know he's reliable. Anybody else have anything to share? So I'd like you, if you would be so cheesy as to start your cameras. I really want to illustrate just the value of the connections in this room. And remember that who you are, and that you know things and you have things to offer to all of us. And I thank you for the unique way that you bring those to the world. Sorry, it's been a hard week for all of us, hasn't it? But there's a lot of great people out here that care about the same things. And I'd like you to just kind of reach out to the corners of your screen here and realize that you're connected virtually and in a really even a more better way than you ever were before, because now we're not limited by distance or time, but just by knowing that there are people like you that care and want to build a better Kansas. There you go. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. So excuse my emotion here. Jack, would you like to share what you're going to share with us next month in February, on February the 5th?
Sure. Well, just real briefly, the Johnson County Community College and the SBDC is working together, and we've developed a website. Some of you have seen it. I've shared with you some of you. It's called the Kansas Center for Business Transition. And the idea is to have resources available for all business owners to either do it themselves or seek other help in planning the transition and executing the transition of their business. So, you know, what you mentioned earlier, or somebody mentioned earlier, business owners don't like to think about transitioning. We've got to break that barrier. And maybe one way to do it is give them the opportunity to do it kind of in isolation without tipping their hand that they're thinking about exiting. So we'll be sharing more about that next call.
Great. And Ryle and Erica, I hope you won't be shy about joining us again to tell us how that first session went, and encourage people to join those ongoing sessions on rural groceries. Has anybody else thought of anything that you wanted to share? So for those of you that are here often, I like to leave you with a thought to think about, a thought for the day. This is from Matsuwana Lueo, a philosopher, an entrepreneur, and an author. He says, thank the past for all the lessons it taught you. Anticipate the future for all the blessings it has in store. So thank you guys for joining us, and I'll send out the link to this later on, and it's always on our website. Thanks for joining.